Well, that was Michael Johnson, Opposition Whip, talking to us an hour ago here on Sky News. As you heard, he believed and believes that Malcolm Turnbull has declared the position vacant and there will be a vote on the leadership. Others, those close to Malcolm Turnbull, say what he actually will be doing at 1 o'clock is calling for a show of hands on whether there should be a leadership spill, and most doubt that there will be a majority of Liberal MPs who want to go down that track. Therefore, he will be safe. We are standing by to take you live to Kevin Andrews, the only other contender in this race. He is holding a news conference outside Parliament House, which we will be bringing to you as soon as that happens. In the meantime, joining me now is the Liberal Senator Gary Humphries, a supporter of Malcolm Turnbull, a supporter of this emissions trading deal. Senator, what do you think will happen at 1 o'clock?
I expect that we'll put the issue to the Liberal Party room as to whether it wants a change of leadership or a leadership spill, and I imagine that the party room will reject that proposition. The question has to be posed: do we want to raise the issue of leadership at this point in time? Do we want a chance to vote on a leader, a fresh vote on a leader? And I think most members will reject that proposition.
Do you think it will be an overwhelming rejection?
I think so. I mean, every member has a vote to exercise, and they do so in the privacy of their own conscience. But I just don't believe that after yesterday having delivered a very clear message that we will support an amended ETS, that we would today not support the architect of that position. Penny Wong herself in the last few weeks has said the ETS is a test of Malcolm Turnbull's leadership. Well, he's passed that test. He has delivered a majority of his colleagues for an amended ETS. That's the way we will vote in the Parliament. There are some people who don't support that view, but clearly they are a minority of the party, and I think that that clearly is an affirmation of the leadership of the man who made that deal possible.
Now, Dennis Jensen was telling us earlier that he also wants this meeting at 1 o'clock to consider or to reconsider the issue of whether to defer a vote on the emissions trading scheme. Are you going to get into that sort of stuff in this meeting or not?
I doubt very much it's going to be dealt with in that way. I mean, we made a decision yesterday. It was a close decision. Of course, there are lots of people who are unhappy with that position, but it was a decision. And clearly a majority of the joint party room supported the recommendation of the Shadow Ministry that we go with an amended ETS. That result is very clear, and I think that to go back and revisit that issue today would be unhelpful. If people want to translate that issue into a question of leadership, well, that will also be tested at this meeting, but I think unsuccessfully.
Now, what about Kevin Andrews? He has signalled that if there is a spill, he will be putting up his hand. Is he a viable, a realistic option as leader?
He provided a fine service during the Howard government years, but those years are past. He is, I think, not the man to lead the party at this point in time. I value his contribution to the Liberal Party, but I don't think a majority of my colleagues would see him as a man who could contribute as the leader of the party.
The widespread view amongst your colleagues is that while Malcolm Turnbull will clearly win this ballot today, or the vote on whether there should be a leadership spill, this is a long-term game, and that come February, after the Christmas break, that's when he will be rolled.
I think if Malcolm Turnbull wins the vote today, he will lead the Liberal Party to the next election. I don't think anybody wants to reopen this issue in the lead up to a federal election in 2010. I think this is the last knock on the door for those who don't like his leadership. If they don't succeed today, then they owe it to the party to accept that the leadership has been decided and the issue of the ETS has been decided, and lock in behind those positions.
A final question, Senator. If this is the last opportunity, last knock on the door, as you call it, in regards to Malcolm Turnbull's leadership, do you expect that your colleagues will respect that, draw a line in the sand after today's meeting, and support lock-in behind Malcolm Turnbull?
Well, I think that they will, and I hope that they will. At the end of the day, we are here to challenge the decisions made by the Rudd Labor government and draw attention to their failings and their mistakes. We don't do that while we're talking about ourselves or discussing issues internal to the Liberal Party or the coalition. I think everybody wants to move to the main game. The Australian community wants us on the main game, which is what can we do to offer an alternative to what Kevin Rudd is delivering to the Australian community.
Senator Gary Humphries, good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, David.
Let's go back to Kieran Gilbert.